We did see strong winds and storms, especially in some areas of Cortland County. Our Jonathan Singh was there earlier to check out the damage and the cleanup this evening. Jonathan.
Thursday's rain and windstorm in Cortland was so strong that it unrooted this tree and knocked it over. Earlier today, the fire department was here. They put up this tape and they cleaned up what they could. Meanwhile, across the street is an absolute mess. Neighbors were cleaning up after the storm. This backyard on North Cliff Road in Cortland County got destroyed by the wind and rain. The Hinger family could not believe what they saw. A tree fell on their garage, the trampoline tipped over, and pointy pieces of wood was scattered all across the backyard.
A total wreck. I've never seen anything like it.
The front yard was a mess too. The bed of this truck was filled up 3 times with sticks and branches, and these logs were cut by a chainsaw. This is Tracy Hinger's house. She was still shocked by what happened in her backyard when I spoke to her.
It's a disaster, and I got a lot of work to do.
This tree that was unrooted across the street from her house shows you how powerful the storm really was. It even knocked out power for thousands of people across Cortland County. However, not all areas look like this. This is the house next door, spotless.
I mean, you go down some streets and there's absolutely no damage whatsoever, and then all of a sudden you see damage, and then there's no damage.
We did take a couple laps around the area, and this is the worst damage that we saw. Most people in Cortland County do have their power back on.
Smoking at the State Fair will look a little different this year. Good evening, I'm Matt Mulcahy.
And I'm Megan Coleman. Expect 6 small smoking areas for tobacco and marijuana this year. It's a change, hoping to keep the smell of marijuana to the outskirts of the family event. But some parents don't want pot allowed at all. The question over smoking at the fair was raised after New York State passed legislation banning smoking in state-owned public parks and beaches. While smoking is also prohibited inside all buildings at the state fairgrounds, the interim director says the event has a plan in place, including those outdoor smoking areas.
This year, we're modifying that procedure where we're giving folks 6 locations around the perimeter ring of the fair. We want all folks that are going to be using those type of resources to go someplace where, they can feel comfortable using those resources, but also as a way from, children and young folks.
Tonight, we're pushing local and state leaders about whether they'll change this policy. Alora Lagarde is live for us from the state fairgrounds tonight. Alora?
Megan and Matt, the interim fair director, confirmed with us yesterday that smoking marijuana will be allowed at the fair again this year, but only in the 6 designated smoking sites. Now, I took that news over to our local leaders who say that this is a great idea, especially since the fair is a family event. Now, over 1 million people go to the fair to enjoy the food, drinks, and the entertainment each year. Last year, you were allowed to smoke anywhere at the fairgrounds except inside the buildings and at Chevy Court and Park. Onondaga County legislator Charles Garland says he doesn't think the fair having 6 designated smoking areas is a bad idea. The interim fair director says having these areas will also benefit the people who want to light up and have the option to. Garland even goes as far to say that it will make the experience better for those who don't want to smell the tobacco or marijuana smoke.
The State Fair is a family-oriented, event. All right, a lot of children, especially from all over the state and other places, rural and otherwise, they love it.
The smoking areas will be located around the perimeter of the fairgrounds. And for those of you who want to know where those designated sites will be, the link on that to that map will be on our website at cnycentral.com, along with the tickets to the fair, which begins on August 24th.
Wait times at hospitals in Syracuse continue to be a problem, and they've gotten so bad for one woman, she just left the hospital instead of getting treatment. CBS 5's Maggie DeRosiers is standing by with the Live Eye in Syracuse with more. Maggie?
Good evening, Brandon. Emergency rooms are posting high wait times at Upstate Hospital. I've been tracking their wait times all day, and they've typically fluctuated between the 4 and 5 hour window, but I've seen them go up as high as 6.5 hours. Right now, if you're waiting to be seen at the ER here at Upstate, you can expect to wait 6 hours. One woman shared with me that she waited 18 hours before giving up and going home.
Jessica Booker is a lifelong diabetic and recently has had foot pain with a potential bone infection. On Wednesday, that pain sent her to the ER at Upstate looking for help.
I went to the emergency room because my feet were hurting so bad, like I just could not take it.
Today, Jessica is still in pain. She says she waited in the Upstate emergency room for 18 hours and was never treated, so she gave up and asked to leave.
What I asked them was, would I be able to have a cab called so I can go home? And the lady said, no, because you have to be seen by the doctor first. I said, ma'am, I've been here almost 19 hours and I have not been seen yet. At this point, I will take my chances at home.
Her doctor told her to go to the ER for pain like this, but many people use emergency rooms like their primary care doctors, which is one reason ERs get backed up. Another, continued staffing issues. Jessica says she feels like she was overlooked during the course of her ER visit. She said there was a number of ambulances that came in, so she tried to remain patient, but enough was enough.
It was horrible, and I'm like, trying to do things to get my mind off the pain, but I'm just sitting there in excruciating pain for hours.
After not receiving treatment overnight, Jessica is now turning to her primary care doctor to see what other steps can be taken to get help.
So I'm just going to call my other doctor and see what he would suggest.
In a statement from Upstate Hospital, they told me that there are a number of factors at play here, including staffing shortages, bed availability, and how critical the patient is. They say that they regret that sometimes people do have to wait longer in order to get treatment, but their priority will always remain to get the patients that need that emergent care in as quickly as possible.